Hey there designers, Renee here to take you through developing a brand in Photoshop using mockups with smart objects. We'll create an overall brand look, then add a ton of supporting pieces like social promotions, t-shirts, packaging, clothing tags, business cards, and a mobile site mockup. Follow along by downloading the freebie pack at designcuts.com. We'll use two free fonts in the course of this tutorial. One is Caviar Dreams Bold by Lauren Thompson and the other is Poppins by Indian Type Foundry. Both are available online through your favorite free font site or Google Fonts. We'll start by laying out our basic brand elements that we'll use on all of our pieces. In Photoshop, go to File, Open, and navigate to the Freebies folder. Open Styled Stock 101 in the Floral Deco folder. This will be our primary brand image element. Go to File, Save As. Save with a new name as a PSD file. Now we'll create a palette of 4 colors that complement the image. Grab your rectangle tool and draw a rectangle anywhere on the board. The size and location don't really matter. In the Properties panel that opens, click on the Fill Color. In the pop-up, click the Color Picker thumbnail. Enter RGB values of 255, 152, 145, then click OK. Click on the Stroke Color thumbnail and choose No Color. At the bottom of the toolbar, click the foreground color to bring up the color picker. Hover over the rectangle we've just created, then click to sample it, and make the foreground color the same coral color. Click OK. Open the Swatches palette. At the bottom of the palette, click the Create a New Swatch icon. Name the swatch Adriana Coral, then press OK. In the Layers palette, double-click the name of the rectangle layer and rename it Coral, then press Enter. Drag the Coral layer down to the Create a New Layer icon at the bottom of the Layers palette to duplicate it. Double-click the name of the copied layer and rename it Green, then press Enter. Select the Move tool, and on the artboard drag the new rectangle below the first one. Open the Properties palette. Click the Fill Color thumbnail, then click the Color Picker thumbnail. Enter RGB values of 163, 211, 156, and press OK. At the bottom of the toolbar, click the foreground color to bring up the color picker. Hover over the green rectangle, then click to sample it and make the foreground color the same green. Click OK. At the bottom of the Swatches palette, click the Create a New Swatch icon. In the pop-up, name the swatch Adriana Green, then press OK. Now we'll repeat the same process for our 2 secondary layers. Drag the green layer down to the Create a New Layer icon to duplicate it. Then rename the new layer Lemon. Select the Move tool and drag the new rectangle somewhere between the first 2. Open the Properties palette, click the Fill Color thumbnail, then click the Color Picker thumbnail. Enter RGB values of 244, 230, 71, and press OK. At the bottom of the toolbar, click the foreground color to bring up the color picker. Hover over the yellow rectangle, then click to sample it and click OK. At the bottom of the Swatches palette, click the Create a New Swatch icon. Name the swatch Adriana Lemon, then press OK. Now for our last color. Drag the lemon layer down to the Create a New Layer icon. Double-click the name of the copied layer and rename it Navy, then press Enter. Select the Move tool, drag the new rectangle a little below the lemon rectangle. Open the Properties palette, click the Fill Color thumbnail, then click the Color Picker thumbnail, and enter RGB values of 37, 38, 65, then press OK. Lastly, we'll add that to our Swatches palette. For our final step, we'll create a logo. We'll quickly dip into Illustrator to personalize our logo, then finish everything else up in Photoshop. In the Freebies folder, go into the Zeppelin Graphics folder and open 100 Minimal Logos Bundle Freebie in Illustrator. Select the Type tool and highlight the word Suburban. We'll change it to Adriana, the name of our brand. Switch to the Main Selection tool. Open the Character palette and increase the tracking, the space between letters, to 600. Select the Direct Selection tool. Select the text, then hold Shift and move it to the right until it's centered in the rectangle. Switch back to the main selection tool. Drag across to select the entire logo, then press Command-C to copy. Go back into Photoshop and press Command-V to paste. Select Smart Object and press OK. Hold Shift and use the corner handles to increase the size of the logo, just so it's easier to see. Press Enter, then save your file, and we have a complete set of brand elements. Next, we'll start to build some of the items you'd need for a retail shop, like bags, boxes, business cards, etc. In the Mockup Zone Freebies folder, open Front View Items 31. In the Layers palette, open the group named Cartoon Bag Side. Inside, double-click the thumbnail for the layer named Double-Click and Edit. This will open a new file named light1.psb. In the Layers palette, open the group named Your Design, then double-click the thumbnail on the layer named Double-Click to Edit. A file called rectangle1.psb will open. This is where we'll place the design we want on the front of the bag. At the bottom of the Layers palette, click the Create a New Layer icon. In the Swatches palette, click the Adriana Green swatch to make it the foreground color, then press Option Backspace to fill the layer with the foreground color. In the Layers palette again, click the Create a New Layer icon, select the rectangular Marquee tool. Draw a rectangle along the bottom of the artboard. Make sure you go all the way from one side to the other and make the height about 1.5 inches. In the Swatches palette, select the Adriana Navy swatch. Press Option Backspace to fill the rectangular selection area with navy, then press Command-D to deselect. Go into the original brand look file. In the Layers palette, click once on the logo layer to make it active. Go to Layer, Duplicate Layer. In the pop-up under Destination next to Document, select rectangle1.psb and press OK. Now go back to rectangle1.psb, the file. Select the Move tool. The logo's here, but we can't see it because it's off the artboard to the right, so really you can just click on the artboard and drag to the left a few times until you can see the logo. Go to Edit, Transform, Scale. At the top of the artboard, enter a width of 300%, then click the link icon between width and height to maintain the aspect ratio. Press Enter when you're done. Position the logo in the middle of the green space. Press Command-S to save, then Command-W to close the file. Then go back into light1.psb file. As you can see, the front of the bag is automatically updated with the new design. In the Layers palette, open the Side Design group. Double-click the thumbnail on the layer named Side. This will open a new file named Layer 31. Go to File, Place Link to navigate to Styled Stock 101 in the Floral Deco Freebies folder and press Place. Hold Shift and use the corner handles to increase the size of the image until it fills the entire artboard, and then press Enter when you're done. Press Command-S to save the file, then press Command-W to close it. Back in Light 1, you'll see that the side of the bag has been updated with the floral image. Press Command-S to save this file, then Command-W to close it. Now you'll see back in Front View Items 31 that the bag on the right has updated with both of the new designs. In the Layers palette, open the group named Cartoon Bag Front, double-click the thumbnail for the layer named Double-Click and Edit to open a new file named Light. In the Layers palette of Light, open the group named Your Design. Double-click the thumbnail on the layer named Your Design to open a new file named Rectangle1. This next part is going to get a little bit confusing because we'll have a lot of files open, but it will save us a lot of time and make sure that our two bags have really consistent designs. Go back into Front View Items 31. Open the group named Cartoon Bag Side and double-click the thumbnail for the layer named Double-Click and Edit. In Light 1, then double-click the thumbnail on the layer named Double-Click to Edit. In Rectangle 11, in the Layers palette, select the bottom green layer, then hold Shift and select the very top Vector Smart Object layer. Go to Layer, Duplicate Layers. In the pop-up under Destination Document, select Rectangle1.psb, then click OK. Now close the current file, then close Light 1 without saving any changes. Go into Rectangle 1. You'll see that all the layers from the first bag are here now. In the Layers palette, select the green layer to make it active. In the Swatches palette, select Adriana Coral, then press Option Backspace to fill the green layer with coral. Back in the Layers palette, select the navy layer to make it active. In the Swatches palette, select Adriana Lemon. Press Shift Option Backspace to fill the blue area with lemon yellow. Press Command-S to save the file, then Command-W to close it. You'll see that light.psb has automatically updated. Save that file, then close it, and return to Front View Items. And that's all there is to creating our retail bags, so you can close this file now after saving it. Next up, we'll make a brand t-shirt with an accompanying clothing tag and gift box. In the Mockup Zone Freebies folder, open Top View 11. In the Layers palette, turn off the layer name texture by clicking the eye icon to the left of the layer thumbnail. Open the group name tag. Inside, double-click the thumbnail for the layer name, double-click and edit. This will open a new file named Label1. In the Layers palette, double-click the thumbnail on the layer named Label Design. A file called Label Copy will open. This is where we'll place the design we want on the front of the tag. In the Layers palette, turn off the layer named Layer 1, and at the bottom of the palette, click the Create a New Layer icon. In the Swatches palette, select the Adriana Coral swatch, then press Option Backspace to fill the new layer with coral. At the bottom of the palette, click the Create a New Layer icon. Select the rectangular Marquee tool. Draw a rectangle along the bottom of the artboard, and this time make the height about 1 inch. In the Swatches palette, select the Adriana Lemon swatch, then press Option Backspace to fill the rectangular selection area with yellow, and press Command D to deselect. In the original branding file, select the logo layer and go to Layer, Duplicate Layer. In the pop-up dialog box, select Label Copy as the destination document and press OK. In the Label Copy file, press Command-hyphen several times to zoom out. Go to Edit Free Transform to create a bounding box around the logo so we can see where it's located at. Use the Move tool to drag it onto the artboard. At the top of the artboard next to Width, enter 400%, then click the link icon between width and height to maintain aspect ratio. Next to Angle, enter 90 degrees. Position in the middle of the coral area, but keep it clear of the very top of the tag because we'll have a hole punched through that area. Press Command-S to save the file, then Command-W to close it, and this will take you back to Label 1 where you'll see the updated tag. Again, press Command-S to save the file, then Command-W to close it, and you'll see that the tag's been updated in Top View 11. Next up, we'll design the gift box. In the Layers palette, open the box layer. Inside, double-click the thumbnail for the layer named Double-Click and Edit. This will open a new file named Light12. In the Layers palette, double-click the thumbnail on the layer named Your Design. A file called White Copy will open. This is where we'll put our logo. In the Layers palette, turn off Layer 1. In the original Brand Look file, select the logo layer and go to Layer, Duplicate Layer. In the pop-up, select White Copy for the destination document and press OK. The logo will be just off the artboard to the right, so just use the Move tool to drag it onto the artboard and position it in the middle. We're going to add another little section of color at the bottom like we have on all of our other elements, so we'll want to put this just a little above center. Press Command-S to save, then Command-W to close the file. Now we'll change the color of the box. In the Layers palette, open the group name Box Color/Details. Double-click the color thumbnail on the layer named Change Color. When the color picker opens, use the eyedropper to sample Adriana Coral from the Swatches palette. In the Layers palette, drag the Change Color layer down to the Create a New Layer icon. Double-click the color thumbnail on the duplicated layer. When the color picker opens, use the eyedropper to sample Adriana Lemon from the Swatches palette, then press OK. To keep our colors from interacting and creating orange like they're doing right now, we'll need to add to the existing masks on each of the color fill layers. Select the rectangular Marquee tool and draw a rectangle covering the top of the box where we want it to just be coral. In the Layers palette, click the black and white thumbnail, the mask, on the yellow layer. This will change your foreground color to black and background to white. Press Option Backspace to fill the selected area with black, which masks it out. Now go to Select Inverse. In the Layers palette, click the black and white thumbnail on the coral layer. Press Option Backspace to fill the mask with black, hiding this portion of the coral color and showing only the yellow that way. I'm going to take this opportunity to center the logo a little bit better, so we'll go back in and adjust that, save it, and then go back to the gift box layer. Press Command-S to save, then Command-W to close, and as you can see, Top View 11 has automatically updated with the new gift box. In the Layers palette, open the T-shirt group. Double-click the thumbnail on the layer named Double-Click and Edit to open a new file named Light111. In this file, double-click the thumbnail on the layer named T-shirt Design, and that opens T-shirt 1. Turn off Layer 1, go to File, Place Linked, navigate to Styled Stock 101 in the Floral Deco Freebies folder, and press Place. Hold Shift and use the corner handles to proportionally increase the size of the image until it fills the artboard, then press Enter when you're done. Press Command-S to save, then Command-W to close the file. Back in Light111, we see the updated shirt, but we'll want to make some small revisions since our pattern is showing up on the inside section of the shirt where it wouldn't actually be. In the Layers palette, click on the layer mask, the black and white thumbnail, on the t-shirt design layer. Select the brush tool. At the top left of the artboard in the brush preset picker, select the hard round brush. Brush along the top inside section of the shirt to mask off the floral pattern. In the Layers palette, select the mask thumbnail on the emboss layer and repeat brushing in the same area. Press Command S to save, then Command W to close the file. Back in top view 11, you'll see the updated shirt design. For a final touch, let's change the background color closer to one of our brand colors. In the Layers palette, double-click the teal thumbnail on the Color Fill 1 layer. When the color picker opens, use the eyedropper to sample Adriana Navy from the Swatches palette. This is a little bit dark, so let's back off by changing the RGB values to 113, 114, 141, then press OK. Now you can save this file and close it, and we'll move on to creating a business card. In the Zeppelin Graphics Freebies folder, open One-Side Card Layouts Freebie.psd. You'll get a warning about missing fonts, just like Don't Resolve, because we'll be changing these anyway. In the Layers palette, open the Black Text Layouts group, then the Layout 4 group. Turn on the Layout 4 group by clicking the empty space to the left of the group name. Select the top layer, then hold Shift and select the Creativity layer. At the bottom of the Layers palette, click the Delete icon. Since this will be a general business card for the overall brand and not a specific person, we'll also delete the email address section. Select the layer named Phone, then hold Command and also select the layer with the phone number. On the artboard, hold Shift and drag the two items to the right until they're centered on the artboard between the address and website. In the Layers palette, select the three text layers by first selecting the top text layer, the phone number, then holding Shift and selecting the bottom text layer, which is the website address. In the Character palette, change the font to Poppins Regular at 6 point. In the Layers palette, select the Location layer, then hold Command and also select the Address text layer. Select the Move tool. Hold Shift and press the right arrow key on your keyboard 3 times. This will move the address in so it isn't so close to the edge. In the Layers palette, select the Facebook layer, then hold Command and also select the Website Address layer. Hold Shift and press the left arrow on your keyboard 3 times. Now select the Type tool. On the artboard, select the physical address text and change it to Los Angeles, California. Next, use the Type tool to select the phone number and change it to 555-951-6483 or whatever numbers you want to use in this same format. Select the website address, and since we're directing people to a Facebook page, we'll type /design cuts. In the Layers palette, select the Layout 4 group to make it active. At the bottom of the palette, click the Effects icon and select Color Overlay. In the Layer Style pop-up, set the blend mode to normal and the opacity to 100%. Click on the color thumbnail to bring up the color picker. Then use the eyedropper to sample Adriana Navy from the Swatches palette. Press OK on the color picker, then OK on the Layer Style pop-up. Switch to the Move tool and on the keyboard press the down arrow 4 times to move the entire group lower on the artboard. Go to File, Place Linked, and navigate to Styled Stock 101 in the Floral Deco Freebie folder, and press Place. Hold Shift and use the corner handles to increase the image size until it fills the entire artboard, then press Enter. In the Layers palette, drag the Styled Stock 101 layer into the Simple Backgrounds group. Select the rectangular Marquee tool. Draw a rectangle along the bottom of the card just tall enough that the information will be centered inside of it. In the Layers palette, click once on the Styled Stock 101 layer to make it active. Then at the bottom of the palette, click the Create a New Layer icon. In the Swatches palette, click once on Adriana Green to make it the foreground color, then press Option Backspace to fill the selection with green. Press Command D to deselect. Now we'll create a simple front for the card. We'll create it in the same file and just put it in a separate group. If you were going to print this card, you'd want to save out separate high-res, JPEGs, or PDFs of each side with only the needed groups visible. In the Layers palette, click the Create a New Group icon. Drag the new group to the very top of the Layers palette above Black Text Layouts. Double-click the name and rename it Front with Logo. At the bottom of the palette, click the Create a New Layer icon. In the Swatches palette, click once on Adriana Coral to make it the foreground color, then press Option Backspace to fill the new layer with coral. Back in the original brand look file, select the logo layer and go to Layer Duplicate Layer. Select One Side Card Layouts Freebies for the destination document and click OK. In the business card file, press Command - several times to zoom out, then go to Edit Free Transform. At the top of the artboard, enter a width of 200%, then click the link icon between width and height to maintain the aspect ratio. Use the Move tool to drag the logo to the center of the business card, then press Enter. And that's our business card done on both sides. Go ahead and save that file and then close it. In the Freebies folder, open the Samsung Galaxy S8 mockup file. In the Layers palette, open the Arctic Silver group, then open the S8 Arctic Silver group. Double-click the thumbnail image on the layer named Screen to open a new file called Screen. In the Layers palette, drag the Screen layer to the trash icon to delete it. Press Command Backspace to fill the remaining layer with the background color, which is white. At the bottom of the Layers palette, click the Create a New Layer icon. In the Swatches palette, click once on Adriana Coral. Select the rectangular Marquee tool and draw a rectangle the full width of the screen at the very top that's about 1.5 inches high. Press Option Backspace to fill the selection with coral, then press Command D to deselect. Go back into the original brand look file. Select the logo layer and go to Layer Duplicate Layer. For the destination document, select Screen.psb and click OK. In the Screen file, press Command - several times to zoom out, then go to Edit Free Transform. At the top of the artboard, enter a width of 350% and then click the link icon between width and height. Use the Move tool to drag the logo to the center of the coral shape, then hit Enter. At the bottom of the Layers palette, click the Create a New Layer icon. In the Swatches palette, click once on Adriana Lemon. Select the rectangular Marquee tool and draw a rectangle the full width of the screen just below the coral area that's about 0.75 inches high. Press Option Backspace to fill the selection with yellow, then press Command D to deselect. Now we'll add a small mobile menu button, which you may have heard referred to as a hamburger button. Select the Rounded Rectangle tool. On the left inside of the lemon yellow area, draw a small rounded rectangle at about 0.7 inches wide by 0.1 inches high. In the Properties palette, click the Fill Color thumbnail. In the pop-up, scroll down and select the Adriana Navy swatch. Click the Stroke Color thumbnail. In the pop-up, select No Color. Now select the Move tool. In the Layers palette, drag the rounded rectangle one layer down to the Create a New Layer icon to duplicate it. On the artboard, hold Shift, then click on the duplicate rectangle and drag it down below the original. We'll do this again for our third piece. In the Layers palette, drag the rounded rectangle one copy layer down to the Create a New Layer icon to duplicate it, and on the artboard, hold Shift and drag the new rectangle down below the second one. In the Layers palette, select all three rounded rectangle layers. At the bottom of the palette, click the Create a New Group icon, double-click the name of the group and rename it Menu Button. On the artboard, center the menu button vertically in the yellow space. Select the Type tool. Click once in the yellow bar to the right of the menu button and type "See our latest lookbook." In the character palette, change the font to Poppins Regular at 17 point. Click the color thumbnail and use the eyedropper to select Adriana Navy from the swatches palette. Now go to File, Place Linked, and navigate to Styled Stock 202 in the Floral Deco folder. Press Place. Hold Shift and use the corner handles to increase the size until most of the empty white space on either side of the close is off the artboard. Position below the yellow bar and press Enter when you're done. At the bottom of the Layers palette, click the Create a New Layer icon. Select the rectangular Marquee tool and draw a rectangle below the clothing image that's the full width of the artboard and about 0.25 inches tall. Click once on the Adriana green swatch in the Swatches palette, then press Option Backspace to fill the selection with green. Press Command D to deselect. Now we'll add a couple of individual items from the outfit image and give them some descriptions. In the Layers palette, select the Styled Stock 202 layer and drag it down to the Create a New Layer icon to duplicate it. Go to Edit, Free Transform. At the top of the artboard, enter a width of 8% and click the link icon between width and height, and press Enter. Select the rectangular Marquee tool. Draw a rectangular selection around the top section of the shirt. At the bottom of the Layers palette, click the Add Layer Mask icon. Then click the Effects icon and select Stroke. Enter a stroke size of 8 pixels. Position should be set to center. Blend mode to normal and opacity to 100%. Click the color thumbnail and use the eyedropper to select Adriana Navy in the Swatches palette. Click OK, then OK again. Position the masked stroked shirt on the left below the green bar. Now select the Type tool. Click once on the artboard to the right of the masked shirt and type Stripe T, a color, which in this case navy heather, a selection of sizes, and then a price. Now switch to the Move tool. In the character palette, change the font to Poppins Regular at 12 point, the leading to Auto, and set the color to Adriana Navy. In the paragraph palette, select Align Right. Use the Type tool to select just the first line, Stripe T. Change the font to Poppins Semi-Bold at 14 point. In the Layers palette, select the Stripe T text layer and the Mask Styled Stock 202 copy layer. At the bottom of the palette, click to create a new group icon. Double-click the name and rename it T Details. Duplicate the T Details group by dragging it down to the Create a New Layer icon. Double-click the name of the duplicated group and rename it Sandals Details. On the artboard, hold Shift and use the Move tool to drag the duplicated group down below the original. It'll fall off the bottom of the screen, which is good. We want it to look like the page continues below the area you can actually see on your mobile phone. In the Layers palette, open the Sandals Details group. On the Styled Stock 202 copy layer, click the link icon between the image thumbnail and the black and white mask thumbnail. This will unlink the mask location from the image location so we can move each independently. Click once on the image thumbnail to make it active, then on the artboard drag the image up until the sandals come into view within the masked area. Use the Type tool to select Stripe T and change it to Lola Sandals. And then we'll change our color to nude. Press Command S to save the file, then Command W to close it. Back in the original Samsung Galaxy mockups file, you can see that we have an updated mockup of the phone with all the reflections and everything in place. If you've purchased the bundle, this one mockup file will actually have multiple colors and angles of the phone, and it'll all be updated with the new design after creating it just once. Now open the Instagram file in the Basic Lab Freebies folder. In the Layers palette, open the Logo group and turn off the layer called Rectangle 3. In the original Brand Look file, duplicate the logo layer to the Instagram file. Back in the Instagram file, go to Edit Free Transform. At the top of the artboard, enter a width of 700% and click the link icon between width and height. Use the Move tool to drag the logo to the top middle of the artboard. Open the Used Objects group and click once on the Image group to make it active. On the artboard, use the Move tool to drag the image of the model to the left and a little higher than her current position. Now select the Type tool. On the artboard, select the text at the bottom and change it to Summer Sale. In the Layers palette, select the Change Texts group. On the artboard, use the Move tool to move the text block to the right side of the artboard. In the Layers palette, click the lock icon to the right of the background group to unlock it, then open the background group and turn off the gradient layer. Select the Rectangle 4 layer. In the Swatches palette, click once on Adriana Coral to make it the foreground color, then press Option Backspace to fill the layer. Open the Used Objects group, then open the Shape group. Under the 0-1 layer, double-click Gradient Overlay. In the Layer Style pop-up, click on the white gradient thumbnail to open the Gradient Editor. When the Gradient Editor opens, click the white color stop at the far left side of the gradient, then click the color thumbnail below the gradient. When the color picker opens, use the eyedropper to sample Adriana Lemon in the Swatches palette, then press OK on all of the open pop-ups. Now select the 0-3 layer. On the artboard, move the circle to the left behind the model's head so it doesn't interact with our text so much. Repeat the same process to turn it from white to yellow. For our large bottom left circle, we're going to bring in some of our floral image. Go to File, Place Linked, and navigate to the Styled Stock 101 image in the Floral Deco folder, and press Place. Hold Shift and use the corner handles to reduce the size a little bit, as long as it covers the visible part of the circle. Press Enter. In the Layers palette, hold Command and click once on the thumbnail on the 0-2 layer to create a selection around it. At the bottom of the palette, click the Add Layer Mask icon. And we're done! We've created a ton of branding elements perfect for a client presentation using high-quality, time-saving mockup files and some basic Photoshop techniques. Whether it's your outcome for this tutorial or something new, head over to our Facebook page and share it with us. Let us know what you think in the comments below and give us a thumbs up if you like the tutorial. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/designcuts to get more video tutorials and regular updates, or visit us at designcuts.com. Thanks for watching. Till next time!